Last year we ran a story called Uncounted Beans about how the state of Arizona is classifying Hispanic inmates as white, or to use the term that we coined for it, Arizona white. Arizona, however, is far from alone in that practice. This week we bring you Arizona white, Texas style. Without further ado, courtesy of the Texas Top 10 Most Wanted Fugitive page, allow us to introduce Mauricio Giovanni Rosales. Mauricio got himself in a little bit of trouble in Texas. The charges against him include attempted murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Mauricio is 5 foot 9 inches tall and about 170 pounds. He hails from that little corner of Mexico known as El Paso. Oh, and did we mention he's white? Meet Ezequiel Rios Villarreal. Unlike Mauricio, he managed to finish the job. Ezequiel is wanted for homicide, and yep, he's white too. This is Dusty Gus Hernandez, pervert, pedophile, and you guessed it, white. How about Raul Flores Jr.? Raul has been working overtime to help keep the population under control, the hard way. And bingo, he's white. Now you may be wondering, what's the big deal? Aren't we making this all about race? Actually, it's just the opposite. You see, our opponents, folks like the National Council of La Raza and Media Matters, get indignant when, as they say, quote, many commentators inaccurately suggest that immigrants in general, and Latino immigrants in particular, have a higher proclivity to commit crime. Well, we're not here to say that Latino immigrants commit more crime than other groups, including citizens. We're here to say, how can anyone authoritatively claim they're not, using statistics in which they're being counted as white? In Cobb County, Georgia, the sheriff groveled to local Hispanics, saying that the department couldn't possibly be racial profiling because, quote, the department ratifies not knowing how many Hispanics have been detained during those roadblocks, the reason being that the computer system only allows for them to input the information under categories of white and black. Hispanics are being recorded as white. And why, pray tell, is this happening? The sheriff added that he, quote, supported the actions as being a federal requirement in tracking the number of violations committed. And he's right. That is in accordance with the feds, who now ask about Hispanic origin as a separate question from race. But if that's how we're going to do it, to be fair, we have to do it across the board, meaning that Latino and Hispanic cannot be considered a race for any legal purpose. That would mean that if this guy is white, then Hispanic could not be a victim classification in a racially motivated hate crime. That would mean that if this guy is white, then a Latino student could not benefit from race-based affirmative action. That would mean that if this guy is white, then all the traffic stops that have had the open borders crowd squealing about racial profiling have been perpetrated against, that's right, white people. Of course, our utterly feckless government has no interest in doing what's fair, or honest for that matter, because they're far too busy scrambling to hide a truth they don't want the American people to discover. Our money is on a big old pile of uncounted beans. The victim, a 23-year-old Lexington Park, Maryland woman. The accused, Alvario Dominguez, 24, an illegal alien. The charges, second-degree rape and second-degree assault. The story. On the afternoon of July 12th, a group of people were gathered in the victim's front yard for a party. Dominguez, a complete stranger, walked up and joined in the fun. Of course, they must do things differently where he comes from, because his idea of fun included following the woman into her bedroom, locking the door, and raping her. Luckily, someone heard the victim calling for help. When they tried to get into the bedroom, Dominguez fled to a nearby residence, where police found him hiding under a bed. It's an eerie parallel, isn't it? If these folks had turned away this uninvited and unwelcome gatecrasher, he wouldn't have been there to commit the rape. And of course, if our government had been doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, Dominguez wouldn't have been here to commit this rape. And that makes this crime what? 100% preventable. The victim, an 8-year-old Florida girl. The accused, Martin Ramirez Garcia, 43, an illegal alien from Mexico. The charges: lewd and lascivious molestation and lewd and lascivious exhibition. The story. On Sunday, July 6th, the 8-year-old's grandmother entered the girl's bedroom and found Garcia on top of her granddaughter. Kudos to this outraged grandma who, according to the police, quote, beat him off of her. During questioning, Garcia admitted to touching the girl inappropriately on several occasions and exposing himself to her. A 5-year-old girl was also in the room and witnessed this dirtbag molesting her older sister. Fortunately, the 5-year-old reported that Garcia had not touched her. When police asked him, he responded, "No, she was too young." As an aside, researching this piece led to the discovery that Hispanic perps can be Arizona white in Florida too. Of course, if our government was doing its job, getting and keeping illegal aliens out of our country, perverted pedophiles like Garcia couldn't just stroll in and start trolling for young, innocent, defenseless victims on American soil. And that makes this crime what? 100% preventable. Supporters of open borders and illegal immigration usually extol the same list of goodies when talking about throwing open our borders and rendering us a non-nation: multicultural restaurants, diversity, and vibrancy. Well, here's just one more vibrant benefit of open borders and illegal immigration: kidnapping. Phoenix has just been named the kidnap capital of the U.S., clocking in an almost unbelievable 359 last year alone. Oddly though, you only have to go back a couple of years to find a time when kidnapping was considered an all but dead crime here in America. Care to take a guess where it isn't a dead crime? If you guessed our good friend Mexico, you get a gold star. In 2004, Mexico won the much coveted Kidnap Capital of the World award. And if you guess that this rash of kidnappings is being committed by Mexicans, not Americans, you're smarter than I look. Now, I fully anticipate someone leaving a comment under this show telling me how racist with a capital R I am for daring to baldly state the truth. And I'm so ashamed of myself. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say it again. This rash of kidnappings is being committed by Mexicans, not Americans. Phoenix police report that the kidnapping epidemic there is almost exclusively related to the drug and human smuggling trade coming across our fortress-like southern border. As a matter of fact, the Phoenix Police Department is now considered one of the best in the country when it comes to handling kidnap cases. Again, a crime that was virtually extinct here just a few years ago. Call me crazy, but I'm guessing that they wouldn't describe this newfound diversity of crime as vibrant. Thanks for clicking in to this week's episode of the Blogs for Borders video blog burst. If you watch every week, you know this is the time we usually remind you that you can support us by making a donation to the show. Well, this week we're asking for your support for a particular purpose. Next weekend, amnesty-loving open borders advocates from across the Midwest are gathering in the tiny town of Postville, Iowa, to show their support for the hundreds of illegal aliens who were arrested in an immigration raid back in May. We want to be there to get it all on video for Blogs for Borders. So if you've been thinking about clicking the Support Blogs for Borders button over at freedomfolks.com, but just haven't gotten around to it yet, now would be the perfect time. And until next week, be vigilant, be vocal, and be unrelenting. We've got a country to save.